coming
If
up.
you were sexually traumatized, why would
Mhm.
you post naked picture of it? First of all, is that
Be-
true? It might not even be true. Did you post naked?
So, yeah, no, we're going to
So
answer this.
if you were
So, there's a
sexually
difference.
traumatized,
Again,
why did you do that?
one, that trauma happened 17 years ago. Two, also, I'm past that trauma. And what I choose to do with my body is empowerment.
But how are you empowering yourself by showing your naked body? Because when the men see that,
Because it's
all they're
about
thinking
consent.
about, when men see that, all they're thinking about having sex with you. They can care less about you or
But like,
anything.
here's the
They
thing:
just want the
what
sex. So
you're saying though is like
how
you're
are you
acting as if I
empowering yourself?
care,
How are you
but
empowering yourself?
you're acting as if I care what men think.
But how
I
are
do
you
not care what the
empowering
men think who
yourself?
are buying my photos. They if they're buying my photos and they're respecting my boundaries, I do not care what they think.
But how is
So for
that
me,
empowering?
it's called money. Money is empowered.
You believe that women are equal to men, right?
100%.
Then why are women always whining and complaining? Oh, I've been sexually abused. But I have not mentioned a book at all. You mentioned the book, not me. But
No,
let me.
you mentioned the Bible numerous times and
No,
that
I
your
haven't.
belief
I
system
said the
leads you
order
to
of
believe that
God.
men are superior to women, which is a book that is a lie because Jesus Christ himself was a socialist who believed in equality
What
and fought
the?
for women and minorities.
What the?
Welcome, cultural warriors. Welcome to another doozy of a video. This video is crazy, it's off the chain because we have a very delusional feminist. This lady is disrespectful, rude, obnoxious. She cares about nothing else but herself. You need to watch this video from the very beginning to the end. Jesse trolled her, but she pushed back a lot. Very interesting back and forth. I'd like you to enjoy it. Have you subscribed to this channel yet? If not, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and turn the notification bell so whenever I drop a new video, you'll be the first to get it. I don't want to give you no spoilers. I want us to go straight into the video. So let's do it.
You allegedly experienced sexual abuse while in the military. Did that happen?
Yeah, there's a listen, at this point, the United States government, they're they're giving me the sun, the moon, and the stars at this point because it's well documented. It's not a point of it's alleged, it's confirmed. Like everything that I've been through has been confirmed.
And so when you were having sex with those guys in the military, you didn't want to have it? You didn't want to do it?
No, and I was a minor and I was coerced, I was abused, and I went through torture.
Amazing.
It's
Um,
that's sexual violence. That's not consensual.
um, could this have been, when I read your story about allegedly being sexually abused in the military, it made me,
It's not alleged, it happens.
it further verified that women should not be involved in men's sport, the military, or get involved with men clubs or anything because I noticed that every time women get involved with the men stuff, they always accuse men of some type of abuse, sexual abuse or violent abuse or something. Do you agree with me that women should stay with women and men should stay with men? Because you hear more from the women than you do the men.
So I completely disagree with everything you just said because it is not an issue of men and women being segregated and separated, and it's also not women blatantly accusing men. It is a power structure of patriarchy that continually lies to men because there's something in the social sciences that's called homosocial bonding. That is where men's relationships with men are built on competition and power hierarchies. Relationships amongst women are based on collaboration and connection. So when men treat women with competition and for power dynamics and utilize women as tools for their hierarchy and their status amongst men, that is the problem that creates and perpetuates sexual violence. So it's a cultural issue.
But men don't think of women as competition because they know that women are no competition to them
Um,
at all. It's just
I
that the
highly
women,
disagree with what you're
it just,
saying. The reason
it's
we
just
have
that the
segregated
women,
sports to begin with is because women were beating men in sports and men got upset about it. So the reason that sports are segregated to begin with is because during the 70s and 80s, women were consistently beating men in sports. Also, a lot of inventors like myself, I am literally one of the highest ranking inventors in United States history. So to sit there and say that I've competed against 500,000 men this year with my inventions and I'm ranking in the top 1%, I'm doing better than men are. So how are you sitting there to say that like my contributions are not notable when they're significantly notable to national security?
Well, what I was about to say is that men don't see women as competition at all because they know women are not competition. It's just that women are so insecure and they're jealous of the man, so they're always trying to prove that they're equal to
Right.
the man.
So
And
that's
so
an inaccurate statement.
instead of admitting that, they say, "Well, the men try to this," but it's women who are trying to prove that they are equal to men, and it never will happen. You agree
So
to that?
that's called a misogynistic ideology because in order for men to even exist, women have to exist. And scientifically, estrogens were around in humanity for hundreds of millions of years before androgens were. So men would not exist without women. Secondly, if we're going to get to the point that you're making that women are not equal to men, I just asserted the point that I am a top tier elite military inventor for the United States of America. I competed against 500,000 men and came out on top. So what I'm trying to tell you is I wasn't doing that to compete against men. I did that because I'm just capable. And that the resulting outcome was that I came out in the upper echelon. So what I'm trying to tell you is women don't go about our lives to compete with men. And I did not say that men are trying to compete with women. What I said is homosocial bonding is that men compete against other men for social status and power. So in relation, women are used as tools in order for a man to get higher status in hierarchy. So they objectify women versus treating women with dignity and respect. So again, to counter both of the points that you made, there it's not factual because if it was, I wouldn't be as high up on the totem pole for inventing prowess for advanced technologies.
No,
How come men aren't doing that?
I
How come
think
they
what
didn't come out on top of me?
I think what you might not realize, and I do understand it, is that in our country today, women and the blacks are not equal to normal people, and so the white man is allowing women to think that they're doing better as they do with the blacks, and so much is not required of women and the blacks as it does with normal people. So just because they
So
say that you have the best invention doesn't really mean that you have the best invention. They're just doing it to appease the women.
that's definitely not true. The reason I came out at the top is because my inventions have military applications for national security. So the reason that I came out on top is because of my skill set, my knowledge, and my expertise. So that's the reason. It has nothing to do with men, women, or whatever. Whoever had the best invention would make it to the top. That's just how it works.
Not in
So it's
society today. They have
so
lowered the
that is
standard for women and the blacks.
no, that's the standards are not lower, they're
No,
higher.
no, they're lower.
Black males are incarcerated at the highest rates for ridiculous crimes. So that means that they're being held to a higher standard than what white men are. So that's not true.
If they would not committed a crime, would they be locked up?
Most likely, there's plenty of men who have been on death row that are black, and they were put on death row improperly based on a system of racism because American society is built on racism.
So let me go back to the military thing. Do you agree with me that since so many women are crying sexual abuse and brutality and stuff like that, do you agree with me that in universities and military and soccer and whatever, that women should not be allowed to play with men since they are always crying some type of abuse?
So again, what you're saying is inaccurate because when women come forward to express the violence that they went through, that again is a result of homosocial bonding dynamics. It is men objectifying women. So if men stopped objectifying women and treated women as equals, these problems would not even exist. It's about
But
boundaries and respect and consent.
how can you
It
treat
has
them
nothing
as
to do with gender.
how can you treat women as equal to men when they are not equal to men? God didn't make it that way. It's God over Christ, Christ over man
Right. So
over
you're talking
woman.
about one religion
No,
and
I'm
you're
talking
talking
about
about one
period.
ideology based on one book
No, I'm not talking about
instead of what
religion.
reality actually looks like. Because women throughout history in a number of different factions have come out ahead of men. So you're making this about a gender dynamic between men and women. It's about capability, intelligence, and expertise. Doesn't matter where it comes from. It just matters who has it. Now, your genetics are your genetics. It is not binary that men's genetics are superior, and it's not binary that women's genetics are superior. It is a genetic lottery, and depending on your history, however your genetics come out is how your genetics are superior. It is not these binary lines that a book from 3,000 years ago
Well,
that
I'm
was
not talking
modified
about.
numerous times is saying.
Well, I'm not talking about religion. I'm just talking about reality. Do you believe that women? You believe that women are equal to men, right?
100%.
Then why are women always whining and complaining? Oh, I've been sexually abused. I was, I was abused whenever, especially when they're
I just want
losing.
to explain that what you're saying is highly offensive
What do you
to
mean?
women everywhere because it's not whining about it. It is confronting the abuses that we have gone through to have a dialogue
But
about what is happening to ensure that consent and boundaries are respected. Again, that has nothing to do with women. Do you know how many men in the military go through sexual violence?
but you don't hear
Like
them
there's
whining
an
about it.
abundance of
You don't hear them
there's an
complaining.
abundance of men who have gone through sexual violence in the
But you don't
military
hear them whining about it like the women.
because most of them go on to commit suicide, and it is conversations like this that lack empathy and compassion that lead men to commit suicide after they go through sexual violence because it creates shame.
But at
So
least
the
they
same
don't
way that
whine.
your dialogue is shaming women who've gone through sexual violence, the same thing happens with men when they come forward, but it's more stigmatizing. So it leads them to go commit suicide instead.
But they
That's one
still
of the
don't
main
whine.
reasons.
They don't go around whining about it. They deal with it. However
So
way it's.
you're saying that you believe that men should commit suicide instead when they go through sexual violence instead of confronting the power structure and the abuser. So what you're saying is you believe that people who do the abusing should get away with it. That makes no sense.
No, the only thing I'm saying right now is that I notice that women whine about that kind of stuff, and yet they want to be in competition with men. And when they can't win, they start, oh, he abused me, he sexually harassed me. They start
So
complaining.
what it sounds like to me is that you have a lot of internalized misogyny and a lack of education on the actual social dynamics that occur that lead to sexual violence.
But a
That's
lot
what
of
it
women
sounds like to
lie
me and
about
what
that
I'm
stuff.
hearing.
It's been proven that a lot of women lie about sexual abuse.
What research? Because
Especially
the data says less than 4% of women
especially in
have
colleges.
made up less than 4%. That means 96% of women have been validated in telling the truth. So
But
what you're saying
it's
again
easy
is
for
not
women to
factual.
lie.
So that is an internal bias that you have.
No, I
That's
see
what
it all
that
the
is.
time when you know how when married
It
couples.
doesn't matter what you see. It's a matter what the data and the statistics say. And it
No,
says
they
that
make up the data.
96% of women are telling the truth.
They don't the data. You can't trust the data. But you know
Right. If
how
you're trying to say you can't trust data, but you can trust a book from 3,000 years ago that's been
I
modified
haven't
over
mentioned
time
the
to
book,
enslave people and indoctrinate them, that again is the same. It counters your own point that you're attempting to make.
but I have not mentioned the book at all. You mentioned the book, not me. But
No,
let me.
you mentioned the Bible numerous times, and
No,
that
I
your
haven't.
belief
I
system
said the
leads you
order
to
of
believe that
God.
men are superior to women, which is a book that is a lie because Jesus Christ himself was a socialist who believed in equality
What
and fought
the?
for women and minorities.
What the? Let me ask. So you say you would.
Obviously, you have not read the Aramaic Bible, which is the original Bible that Jesus himself grew up on.
You believe in God?
I'm an atheist.
Do you believe in God?
I just told you I'm an atheist.
Does that mean you don't? I'm black and slow. Does that mean you don't believe in God?
I don't believe in any gods.
Oh, okay. Um, you said you were traumatized with this allegedly sexual abuse, right? But yet, according to your bio, you started an on OnlyFans account where you post naked pictures of yourself. And my question is, if you were sexually traumatized, why would you post naked pictures? First of all, is that true? It might not even be true. Did you post naked pictures?
So, yeah, no, we're going to answer
So
this.
if you
So
were
there's a
sexually
difference,
traumatized,
again.
why did you do that?
One, that trauma happened 17 years ago. Two, also, I'm past that trauma. And what I choose to do with my body is empowerment. So if I choose to do something consensually, that is different than being raped and being forced to do something I don't want to do. They're two vastly different things. So if I choose to empower myself to do something that I consent to, that I'm okay with, that's not sexual violence. That's an agreement between me and whatever men are involved. And it's a consensual action. So consent is the key. It's consent and boundaries. As long as that is respected, what do you think, that people who go through sexual violence never have sex in their lives? Like that's ignorant to believe that.
How do
So the
you,
reality is sexuality does not stop because you go through sexual violence, right? So what sexuality is about, it's about consent, it's about mutual respect and mutual understanding. So as long as boundaries are respected, you can do whatever you want with your body.
but how are you empowering yourself by showing your naked body? Because when the men see
Because
that,
it's
all they're
about
thinking
consent.
about, when men see that, all they're thinking about having sex with you. They can care less about you or anything.
But like, here's the
They
thing:
just want the
what you're
sex. So
saying though is like you're
how are you
acting as if I
empowering yourself?
care,
How are you
but
empowering yourself?
you're acting as if I care what men think.
But
I
how
do
are you
not care what the
empowering
men think who are
yourself?
buying my photos. They if they're buying my photos and they're respecting my boundaries, I do not care what they think.
But how
So
is
for
that
me,
empowering?
it's called money. Money is empowering,
Money is
right?
not
So what I'm
power.
saying is it
No,
is because that's how I paid for my inventions. So it is empowering.
but that's not power though. It's just a tool
It
we
is
use on
power.
earth to pay for something. That's
It
just
is
it.
it is power. I'm on the
But
trajectory to become one of the most powerful women in American history. It's definitely power.
there is no
You
way
may not
that.
like it, you may not agree with it, but again, I could care less.
But to think of yourself as being a powerful woman is a false idea. It's a false thought. It's not
No,
real.
it's not.
It's
It's
just
just
an
that your thoughts
illusion
are
in your imagine.
misogynistic.
It's just an
So
illusion.
you think that I would make less of myself because you're a misogynist. Like again, the same way I could care less what other men think of me, I could care less what you think of me. Like it means nothing to me.
I know, but what you don't understand is to think of yourself as a powerful woman is just a false ideal in your imagination only. It's an illusion.
That's definitely
It's
not
not.
true
It's
because
not real.
I'm on the trajectory in the next 10 years. I will be one of the wealthiest women in the United States. I am on that
But you
trajectory.
still will be.
So,
It's still
so
not going to
what
make you powerful.
it is,
No.
it definitely is.
No.
Yes.
How?
Yes.
How? You
That's how
still
money
going to be
works. That's
angry.
how
You
money
still.
works. When you have money, you have power. That's
But
how that works.
you, if you,
But that's we live in a capitalist society. So in case you forgot that, I'm here to remind you of it.
I think what you don't realize though, if you didn't get the money, you still going to be angry and insecure, and have fear and lonely,
I'm not angry.
and
I'm not insecure, and I have no fear.
you
How do you
still
think
going
I'm
to have
engaging
those
with you right now?
inwardly. You're still going to be
Like
unhappy.
I'm very happy with my life. I'm very happy with what I'm doing. You're making assumptions based on misogyny, based on projections you have about women that are not real.
But inwardly, you're not happy. You have no peace.
And also you cannot tell me whether or not I'm happy. You don't even know me from a hole in the wall. You're
I
just
know
making
for
things
a
up.
fact, without a doubt, inwardly,
You don't know,
you're miserable.
you cannot tell other people what they think or what they feel, and you cannot make assumptions. This is the very first time you're ever speaking to me. This is the very first time you're ever looking at me. So you don't know whether my life is happy or not. Like you have no concept of what happiness looks like for me. And what I am telling you is I'm extremely happy. I love my life. I love the direction I'm on, and I am empowered and I'm happy. So what I'm trying to tell you is you can sit there and spew whatever narrative you want to spew, but it's inaccurate. So you're trying to tell me what you think I feel about myself. And what I'm telling you is that you're wrong.
Well, you may have a false sense of happiness, but you have no peace. And happiness
No,
come
I
and
have peace
go,
and I
and
have
happiness
happiness.
is
You're just
based.
making things up. Like this is not this conversation is not for you to tell me how I feel about myself. You don't know me.
Oh
So you're
yeah.
not going to cross that line. No, you're not going to cross that line in this interview to disrespect me or tell me how I feel about myself. I'm well aware of how I feel.
These are the so-called modern women we have to deal with now. Lawless, godless, shameless women They don't care about nothing. They have no respect or regard for themselves and for other men. And this is what we have to deal with. Unless we start to fight this war, like I said, it's a cultural war. We need to fight it. We need to push back because there's no hope for the future generation if we sit back and do nothing and say nothing while women like this continue to perpetuate this madness, this feminism that's destroying the entire family, destroying culture, and destroying the world. No wonder sometimes in the Bible, when you read where the Bible says women are not allowed to teach, sometimes it makes me believe why, understand why that statement was made in the Bible, because women can be so, I don't know, so rowdy, basically, and so destructive. Tell me what you think in the comment section. Drop your opinions. I'd like to react to your opinions. If you've not subscribed to the channel, please hit the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell to get more videos like this. Until next time, my name remains Roland. I'll see you on the next one.